The intro.
So as a photographer, I have 20 years of experience.
Oh, really? 20 years. You literally bought your first camera just 2 days ago. Stop lying to people.
I didn't know you woke up.
I was already awake.
Go back to sleep.
I'm watching you.
Anyway, I was saying, I'm going to take you through this Adobe Lightroom tutorial. Let me show you the picture I took of this bird on the terrace. As you can see, it's quite dull. It's not as brightly exposed. The background is not much separated from the subject, that is the bird. So we're going to try and enhance this image using Adobe Lightroom. Let me open Adobe Lightroom here real quick. You can see that I'm using the cloud version of Adobe Lightroom because that's what I like.
The workflow.
Cute ducks love colorful eggs. Yes, that's right. Cute ducks love colorful eggs.
The crop.
I'm going to just go through all the crop tools available for me right now. So on your keyboard, you can use Shift O. If you just press O, you will go through the different kinds of cropping tools like the golden spiral, the golden ratio, the rule of thirds, and so on. But if you press Shift O, you can see different variations of the same cropping tool. For example, I can use the crop tool of using the golden spiral, and if I press Shift O, it gives me different options inside the golden spiral. Now I'm going to just crop it to see which is the best composition for this image, and just try different positions for the subject. Not here, not here. So I'm just going to try and move this image in the background up and down to nail this composition. Just bear with me for a moment. Okay. Let me see if this works. I want to place the subject at the exact position where the golden spiral ends. You can see the small kind of hook thing. So I think the golden spiral doesn't work, so I'm going to choose the rule of thirds. Okay, this looks all right to me, but I just want to try a few more things before I finalize on the composition. I am not a big fan of placing the subject in the middle, dead center. It usually seems boring. So
No, the subject is not boring. You know what is boring? It's you. You are boring.
Anyway, so I'm going to go back to the rule of thirds and see if that can be the composition for this image. That looks good to me.
The denoise.
We're going to select the denoise option. I would like to keep it somewhere around 50 to 60. I don't usually go to the entire 100 because then the image kind of looks a bit weird when you zoom in. So I like to keep it at 60 now. And the denoise, depending on your computer configuration, might take a few seconds or a few minutes. So let's just run through it.
The P break.
So now the denoising is done, and you can see that this image still has the noise. That's because this is the original image, and you have to go and select the enhanced or denoised image. So if you're not familiar with that, then you might be still sitting and editing the original image, and finally you find that it still has noise. But this one is the enhanced or denoised image. There's a little bit of noise still there, but again, who's going to zoom into your image that much? So it looks decent. I'm happy with the results. I'm going to proceed to the next step.
The light.
So in order to do the light adjustments, I go to the adjustment tab the light adjustment tab. The first thing I would like to do is make sure that I adjust the whites and the blacks. So how do I do that? I press Alt on my keyboard, and then I'm going to slide this white. You can see that the image is turned black. So I'm going to keep sliding this slider, and I'm going to see if there is any specks of white appearing on the screen. As you can see so far, I don't see any white. Now I can see some white. You can see in the middle there are some specks of white. So I'm going to stop there and leave it at 76. So now I'm going to adjust the blacks. I'm going to press Alt on the keyboard, and I'm going to keep sliding or adjusting this black slider until I see some specks of black. So there you can see some specks of black in the middle, and I'm going to just leave it before the black specks appear. So that ensures that we are not clipping the whitest of whites or the brightest of brights, and we are not clipping the darkest of darks. The next step in our process is we're going to adjust the exposure and contrast. So I'm going to start sliding this exposure scale, and you can see that the feather part of this is already too bright. So if I'm going to go anything beyond, let's say 0, it's going to blow out that feather, and all the details are going to be lost. So I'm actually reducing the exposure, and now I'm doing the contrast. So I'm going to just try and see, moving it this way and that way, and see which one works best. And for this particular image, I would like to keep it at 51, or maybe not to. Yeah, I'm going to keep it at let's say just 10. That looks good. Okay, when I adjust contrast, I'm going to just see if I'm blowing out any of the details and see what's the maximum I can go. And now I'm going to adjust the highlights. Maybe I'll just adjust the highlights a little bit towards the left. It's too bright in some areas. Now I'll adjust the shadows. It's going this way, right. That is enough. So we are done with the light adjustments.
The color.
So we have a lot of color sliders. Whenever I look at these color wheels and sliders that are colorful, it reminds me of the olden days where my life was too colorful. And after I got married, boy, my life has lost all the colors.
What? What did you just say?
I was just saying, what a great wife you've been all the years. I really love you.
I heard what you said. Okay.
Okay. So you can adjust the colors in the image. If you want to enhance some colors, you can do that. If you just adjust the vibrance of the image, it's going to improve all the midtones. And down here you have all the different color wheels, or the different colors. You can adjust, enhance, or the opposite of enhance. What is that? Dehance?
You're stupid.
Okay, but I just want to enhance this particular color on the bird, the brown, some sort of brown. I don't know what that is. Is that mauve? Honey, would you say this is mauve?
Seriously. How about you do the dishes instead of being useless?
Never mind. Anyway, so I'm going to pick that and try to play around with the sliders and see if it makes any difference to the image. So yeah, you can adjust the hue, shape, the saturation, and the luminance. So it's up to you to decide what works best for the image. So I'm going to add one more color, let's say, to enhance that, and a little bit of this yellow on the crest as well. Is it called the crest? I don't know. I'm not a biologist. Okay, so let's see. Let me add this color too. That's, what do you call the legs? Are these called legs? I guess these are called legs. Reverse highlight? Yes. I guess they do, yeah. Okay, so I'm gonna make it more red or pink. And if I'm not happy with any of these colors, I'm just gonna delete that swatch and pick a different color. Yeah, this looks good, I guess. I'll increase the saturation of that so that the leg or the legs of the birds. It sounds weird to call them legs. Are they legs? Yeah, I think they're legs. Anyway, I'll just adjust the colors and shut up about it. Okay, let me do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. I think the image is becoming too colorful. I'm gonna delete that. And let's just zoom out and see how it looks. Yep.
The effects.
Now the effects has a wide range of things. Like you can use the maskings, you can do the blurrings, you can do other things where you just pick a region in the image and reduce the saturation. Just kind of like color adjustments. I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm sitting here talking to you, pretending like I know everything, but I don't. At this moment, by this time, I think you would have known that. But anyway, we got to go through this and end this video at some point. So I'm gonna do this masking first because this bird needs to stand out from the background. This background has a bright yellow something on the wall, which I don't like because it's killing the image. So I'm going to select that and try to reduce the saturation of that so that our bird looks more colorful against the background.
The mask.
So what we're going to do is go into the masking tool. I'm going to select the background first, and you can see that there is still some space left below the bird that's not selected. So I'm going to click on the add button and choose the brush. So using the brush, you can add to the mask that you've already created. So here the space below the bird is not added to the background, but it should be added to the background. So I'm going to use the brush and add it. So how do I do that? You choose the brush option. You adjust the size so that it fits the size of the space that needs to be added, and you can adjust keep the feather to 100 so that you don't accidentally, brush over the subject, around the subject, and just go over the space that you want to cover or add to the background mask very carefully, not touching the subject. Okay, so now we have created the mask perfectly, and now we are going to try and desaturate the background so that the subject pops out. Okay, so whatever adjustments I'm doing right now is going to affect only the background. So I'm going to do the light adjustments first. And I'm going to play around with the whites and blacks and see what works, what makes the background less saturated. And I'm going to scroll down to this color adjustment tools. I'll probably pick that color, or just probably not picking. I'll just bring down the saturation so that the yellow background, the yellow in the background, is toned down and doesn't pop out. Okay, I'm going to pick that color as well. I'm going to using the color picker, and I'm going to bring down the saturation. Now you can see it's completely blown out. That is too much. Don't do that. See what works best. Move the sliders around, and I think this is still looking worse. Okay, so I'm gonna leave it there. and call it done. The background is done. You can make more adjustments if you want, but I'm going to leave it there. Okay, now we're going to select the subject and make some adjustments just like how we did it for the background. As we know, the subject needs to pop out, so to show enough separation between the subject and the background. So I'm going to adjust a little bit of this texture and clarity, to just make it stand out from the background. So you can also use the dehaze if you want. I'm going to use a little bit of sharpness in the details section. And now I'm going to do something with the eye. So the light of the eyes, the small dot. So that bright spot on the eye is going to bring out the life of the subject. So in this particular image, it's not so bright. So I'm going to make it bright by using a mask. It's a tiny mask using the brush. I'm going to just paint over the eye and increase the exposure and highlight. Play around with the light adjustment tools basically to make it bright, or brighter, should I say.
The blur.
So use the lens blur tool. So I'm going to just click on this apply, and the AI is going to do its job.
The spots.
And one interesting thing to note is sometimes your camera might have some dust settled on it. The sensor might have some dust settled on it, or your lens has some dust settled on it, and you might have not cleaned it before taking the image. So you will have some spots on the image. And it's very difficult to see that with the naked eye just by looking at it. So Adobe Lightroom offers you one additional feature to visualize your spots. So where is it? I'll show you. So you go to the adjustment tab, the healing tool, and down here you see the visualize spots. And when you click on it, the image turns black and white, and if there are spots, you will be able to see them. But here in this image, it's completely free of spots because I always clean my lens on my sensor. I always keep things clean around the house, and this camera and lens are no exception.
Yeah, right. I asked you to take out the trash and you still haven't done it. The trash has been sitting there for 2 days.
Okay. So I just wanted to show you the before and after version of this image now. So already you can see a lot of improvement. So now I'm going to just export the image. I'm going to name it as Songbird because I don't know the name of this bird. And you can use the JPEG version if you want. You have other versions also. I'm going to leave the quality at 100%. And if you want, you can insert some watermark for branding purpose or just to show off. So I have my own watermark. You can see at the bottom right. I'm going to leave it there, and I'm going to export this image. So I'm going to choose the folder I want to save it in. I don't know which folder I should use. I'll go with this one, Terra Shoots, and I'm going to just select the folder, and it's exporting now, and it's exported. Okay, so this is how it looks on full screen. I'm quite happy with the result. Alright, so that's the end of it today, and I hope to see you all again next video. Oh honey, do you want to say anything?
Yeah, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe so that he can afford to buy me some nice shoes.
Alright, that's it. See you later.
The end.